Here's 5 tips on how to handle a tenant security deposit correctly. Number 1, the amount you can charge. Back in October of 24, the law got changed where you can only charge 1 month security deposit, equal to 1 month security deposit, unless there's a situation of utilities are included in the rent or something like that. But typically it's now 1 month's rent. If you had a tenant before 2024 that you maybe charged a double deposit because maybe they had less than perfect credit or bad rental history, you can still hold those and maintain those, but moving forward, it needs to be 1 month's deposit. Number 2 is, where does that deposit need to be held? The law states it needs to be in a separate account from the operating or trust account for that property. And so we set up a separate security deposit account for the tenants where that all the money for deposits are held in this one account, and that's separate from any operating account. And that money is held, it is the tenant's funds. We want to make sure we're managing those correctly and holding those. Now, the next part of that, at number 3, is the interest that needs to be paid on the deposit. Maryland has a stated 1.5% interest paid, and so that's paid yearly. If you hold that deposit longer than 6 months, that needs to be paid. So if you hold the property for 3 years, you're adding 1.5% a year with compound interest on top of that, right? So after 3 years, that would be the amount due to the tenant. Number 4 is what's allowable to me deduct from this deposit. This is honestly the hardest part of all this, is what's normal wear and tear. What did the tenant break? How was the property given to the tenant? How they return it? We've had owners that try to get the tenant for everything that needs to be done to turn the property back over, paint, carpet, that kind of stuff. And we have to stand hard and protect the tenants that that's not what this money is. This money is the tenant's money, and it's only held, it only can be used for fees or rents they did not pay that were in a lease, or damages beyond normal wear and tear. And so our lease states they have to return it in the condition they received it minus normal wear and tear. So that would be, carpets worn a little bit, scuff marks on the wall. If we're looking at like a door was ripped off a hinge, or a window was kicked through or something like that, we could charge that tenant if it's tenant cost. But you want to make sure you're being very cautious about this. Again, this is the tenant's money that was held for you as a deposit in case of damages. And so we want to make sure we're doing that correctly. The last thing, number 5, is this deposit needs to be returned to the tenant within 45 days, or they need to receive an itemized list of why and how it was used. And this is very important. If you don't do this within 45 days, or misappropriate this money, or use it for things you shouldn't have, it could be treble damages if the tenant takes you to court. And we've actually had to go to court for this before, where a landlord wanted to charge extra. We actually were on the tenant side and felt the landlord was kind of abusing the deposit. And so we actually showed up to court and had a fight with the landlord, which was very, very weird for us, as that's not where we want to be. We want to be there protecting you as the owner. But as the property manager, we're kind of that middle person. We had to actually protect the tenant on this side because the owner, we felt, was abusing how they wanted to handle the deposit. So number 1, again, is 1 month's deposit. Number 2 is this needs to be held in a separate account from your operating account. Number 3, interest is going to be paid on this 1.5%. Number 4, your allowable deductions versus normal wear and tear. And number 5 is 45 days to return this deposit with itemized list of what you charge. So the things you can charge is, missed rent. Maybe there's late fees they didn't pay. Maybe there's a utility bill they didn't pay. That can be charged against the deposit. And then any damages beyond normal wear and tear. But that's, we talked about some of this. The very important thing is documenting how you gave the property to the tenant with a timestamp of the day that you took the video or you took all those photos. And then when they move out, another video and photos timestamped, so you can compare the way they received the property and the way the property is returned. We view that as that protects both the tenant and the landlord, is we now have proof. And so when the tenant moves out and says, no, we didn't break that window, or that window was like that when we moved in, we can go back to the move-in inspection and be like, nope, the window is great. Or yeah, you're right, the window actually did have a crack, and so we're not going to charge for that. And so the important thing is document, follow these 5 steps, and you'll be protected. You'll keep your tenants happy, and you'll not be charged for crazy fees, triple damage. You'll do the best you can. So if you have any other questions, subscribe, watch some of the other videos. Let us know of any questions.